Hey YouTubers, Danny Marks here. And I'm back from Tucson, and if I ever go back, it'll be too damn soon. Frankly, I'm not a fan of desert climates and super hot weather. Even though it was nice to have some dry days, because the Pacific Northwest has been, as it is known for, very rainy this year. And it's just been raining like every day straight, I guess, and really hard. So I wanted to do this response video to Brittany at I Eat Words channel about e-readers, and the topic comes up at a pretty good time because I just finished The Iron King. It was my first book that I've ever read all the way through on an e-reader, and I really because before I had actually I've tried it a lot on the reading applications on like the iTouch and on my Droid. But because of the size of it, it just really didn't work for me. So I've never been able to get through a book that way. And I can't read on the computer. I think I've told everyone this before. But I really did enjoy the experience of reading on the Nook. And there was something about it that just made me kind of read quicker. And I jumped right on to reading The Body Finder by Kimberly Durting, which is my current read. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about sort of the future in terms of what e-readers have done here. And I kind of made a joke in the title that they're a plague on physical books, but I mean it's a different experience, and I think that as long, I mean, you're not gonna, people out there who love physical books. I love physical books. I mean, I'll collect them just to collect them and not even read them. I just love having them around. If I could, the walls in this house would be nothing but bookshelves, and I wouldn't have to worry about getting art. Well, they are art in that sense, but I think what's happening, and I think that I do believe that the e-readers are going to replace the physical book. It's going to happen, and this is just coming from inside the industry. In any of the genres that are not selling well on paper, you can bet that at some point those genres are going to be phased out in terms of print books and moved over to e-reader only or print on demand or those kind of things. That's just how it is. It's going to happen because as bookstores become less fluid financially and start to close down more, I mean, look at Borders, it becomes an issue. When a major bookstore, major chain store closes down, it creates a situation with publishers where they now are printing less books. They don't print the same amount of books just because a bookstore goes under, because the bookstore will order a book before it's printed, and that will determine the print run. So now that Borders has closed so many stores, that's miles of shelf space that are gone. They don't go, those same books don't go to other stores. They're just gone. They don't get printed. So print runs have gone down dramatically in the last few weeks, or few months, since Borders has announced its bankruptcy proceedings and closed 224 stores at this point, or in the process of closing. So it's going to happen. I think if we're looking specifically at the young adult genre, which is really selling well in both hardback and trade paperback, I think that it's going to take a lot longer for e-readers to shut down those as physical books. And I see this a lot in terms of just the kids that I know, the teens that I know particularly, and I know there are a lot of adults that read YA, and I'm one of them. And I think with the teens that I've seen, they have a tendency, they like the technology, they think it's cool, they don't mind having a Kindle or whatever, but I rarely see them using it, and they're still buying physical books. So, I mean, it's hard to say. It's hard to say when that would transfer over or how soon, because publishers are still buying young adult books from authors. So, and they're buying them for hardcover and trade paperback. It's not dropping down into mass market paperback, which I think is probably not something that is a viable. It's probably, in terms of a book, if a book costs $6.99 on the shelf, and that's kind of how much ebooks are priced at through publishers, then the small mass market paperbacks, the really small, longer ones, those are probably not long for this world. I think those will probably go first. But the hardbacks and the trades, I think, are actually here to stay, which is odd, because if you had asked me 4 years ago what I thought about trade paperbacks, I would have said that they're a book killer. They if you debut a book in trade for an adult genre novel, it is less likely to sell well than a book that's either put in hardback or in the mass market paperback. But things have changed dramatically because of ebooks and e-readers. That I don't know. It's amazing. Do I have a little? I have kind of a little poof right there. Anyway, so yeah, that's my thing on e-readers. I think they are going to. I think they're going to sort of take down books at some point. I'm not saying it's going to happen next year. And one of the things that Brittany said is that people kind of look at her strangely for reading on her Kindle. But I noticed on the airplane ride back, just in the close vicinity around me, there were 3 people reading on Kindles or Nooks, including me. So, I saw maybe 2 people. Well, no, I'd say there were 3 of us reading on e-readers and 4 that I could see that were reading physical books. So, but that's not a correct percentage, because I believe the percentage of actual sales are that 20% of all book sales are EPUB'd books, and the rest are physical books. So it's gaining momentum, but we're still not at the point where it's going to absolutely chop off the heads of the publishing industry. So that's kind of where it's at. And also, I think that I did hear Brittany talking about indie publishing, and I'm not quite sure what that is, because indie publishing has always been, I think it's been co-opted by self-published authors, but I think indie publishing has always been the small press publishers who still have editors on staff. And I know that a lot of self-published authors have to hire their own editors to do the work. At least they should. Hopefully they do. But yeah, so I didn't know. I didn't know what the difference was. Anyway, that's it. That's my talk about e-readers. What do you think? Do you think it's going to take it down? I don't know. I hope it's not that. I hope it's not that it takes down publishing totally. Because at some point, you've got entire conglomerates built on a physical book, right? If the bookstores go away, and the physical book goes away, then that means the publishers are going to be down to doing exactly the same thing that all of the small EPUBs are doing, and then the money goes away, and we're in the situation again where we're losing tons of jobs, and it's just a vicious cycle. I think the more technology we get, we think we're better off for the technology, but in the end, there's no one with a job, because it can all be farmed out to computers, which, we're back to Terminator. It's scary stuff, but I don't know. I could just be being defeatist and anarchic and crazy. I don't know. What do you think? This is a response video to the I Eat Words? I think I Eat Words channel people. Lady woman, lady girl. What is her name? What do I do? I leave the cursor right over my eyeball, and that's all I can see. Okay. Hey, YouTubers.